So here the poet is Sir Walter Scott, and he lived from 1771 to 1832. He was an excellent storyteller, both in prose and in verse. In his popular ballad, he tells us how in olden days brave young men in Scotland possessed the necessary dash and pluck to do extraordinary things. His narrative poems fascinate the reader by their gripping action, stirring measure, and imaginative appeal. So here students, popular ballad. Ballad is nothing but a story written in a form of a poem. It's a long poem which is actually a story, but written in the form of a long poem. So that is what we are going to learn today. It is a ballad. And here the Scotland poet has written about the brave young men of the Scotland who had the very extraordinary things and unique characters in him, and this poem narrates that how the reader is appealed and when he reads about this particular person, Scottish person who is actually a soldier. So let us read and know what fascinating things that this soldier has, this Scotland's soldier had in it. So let's see the poem stanza wise. O young Lochinvar is come out of the west, through all the wide border his steed was the best, and save his good broadsword he weapons had none. He rode all unarmed and he rode all alone, so faithful in love and so dauntless in war, there never was knight like the young Lochinvar. So here the poet says that, oh, young Lochinvar. Lochinvar is a soldier here of Scotland, and he has come out of the west, means from very far away he is coming, and he's crossing all the borders, and he is just coming across. Your border is nothing but the place between England and the Scotland. So he's crossing all the borders in the areas and coming and doing all his best. And save his good broadsword, he weapons had none. Now he had all the qualities of being a good fighter and using of arm and armaments, how to use all weapons. He was very skilled in it. But he did not carry any of the weapons with him when he was traveling here, when he was doing this journey, when he was crossing this border of his in England and Scotland and he was traveling, he did not had any weapons with him. He rode all unarmed, means he traveled, he did all his journey without any arms, without any weapons, without any knife and swords, and he rode all alone. He did not had any of his partners or any other warrior members. He did his journey alone. Why was he doing this journey? It is because for his love. So faithful in love he was, so dauntless in war. He was so fearless in the war. Dauntless means fearless. You can see the meanings below. So he was so dauntless in war, and they say that there was never knight like the young Lochinvar. Means they have never seen a soldier. Knight means soldier, a man who is having a social position as a soldier, you can say. They have never seen a knight as young Lochinvar. So here his quality, his uniqueness, his dauntlessness is shown in the first stanza. Let us move. He stayed not for brake, he stopped not for stone, he swam the Skye river where ford there was none. But ere he alighted the Netherby gate, the bride had consented, the gallant came late, for a laggard in love and a dastard in war was to wed the fair Ellen of brave Lochinvar. Now there are some meanings given there. Stayed means stopped, break means a thicket, ford means a shallow point where the river can be crossed on foot, alighted means got down, netherby, it's a netherby hall which is in the north of England. Laggard means one who lags behind, a timid person, a shy person, you can say. Dastard means coward, the one who is not brave. So he stayed not break means he did not even stop for anything. He did not stop because it was very thick forest or it was very thick trees and jungle area. He never stopped. He did not stop even if the stone came across him, and he swam the Skye river. There was not a place, like it was not a shallow point where he can just walk and cross on foot. So he crossed even that kind of river by swimming, and But and he alighted, but he got at the day of the gate of Netherby. At last, means he reached his destination. He actually wanted to come to this place that is Netherby. Netherby is a Netherby Hall, which is in England. So he reached there at that gate, and the bride, it was all ready for the bride's wedding over there. Ellen, who was the love of Lochinvar, she was getting married to another person here. So he came here in the Netherby gate, the wedding hall, and the bride was consented. Means she was already ready and she knew, and the gallant came late. Now he was a bit late, but he returned. He reached there for laggard in love. Now he lagged behind in love. The bride was thinking that he is lagging in behind in love, and he's covered in war. So was to wed the fair Ellen of brave Lochinvar. So now this laggard in love and dastard in war was a person who was to be wed with fair Ellen. So Ellen was a girl who was getting married to this person who was not so good in love and so was very coward in war. He was not able to win the war, or he was very failure in a war, you can say. So that kind of person was a bridegroom here. So she was getting married to him, and Lochinvar has breached the gate. So let us see now what has happened. So boldly he entered the Netherby hall, among bride's men and kinsmen and brothers and all. Then spoke the bride's father, his hand on his sword. But the poor craven bridegroom said never a word. Oh, come ye in peace here, or come ye in war, or to dance at our bridal, young Lord Lochinvar? So here, when he came very boldly, entered the Netherby hall. Now, once he reached the gate of Netherby, now he entered very boldly, and there were all the bridesmen, his relative and kinsmen, close relatives of both bride and bridegroom, and brothers and all. The whole hall was completely filled with the relatives. Then spoke the bride's father, and when as soon as the bride's father, Ellen's father, saw Lochinvar, he got up and he kept his hand on his sword, and he just spoke with the Lochinvar that why have you come here? And all this scene was seen by the bridegroom, who never said a word. She was poor craven. She just cowardly bent her head down, and she was just listening to everything without saying any word. So the father asked the Lochinvar, oh, why have you come here? Have you come here for peace? Let this marriage happen, or you have come to have a war here, or you have come to dance at our wedding, or what for what have you come, young Lord Lochinvar? This was asked by the bride's father. He was very angry and he was asking to Lochinvar. Then I long wooed your daughter, my suit you tonight. Love swells like the Solway, but ebbs like its tide. And now am I come with this lost love of mine to lead but one measure, drink one cup of wine. There are maidens in Scotland more lovely by far that would gladly be bride to the young Lochinvar. So nicely he gives the reply. Let's see the meaning first. Solway, the river that separates England from Scotland, and spring tides in the river Solway are believed to be especially very powerful. Measure is nothing but a slow and stately dance. So Tulsimar replies here, I long wooed your daughter, means I loved your daughter, and you have denied my proposal. When I offered this, you, being the father, have denied it, and you don't know how the love swells, how it separates. You have separated like the Solway. Solway is the river which is separating England from Scotland. So he's saying you have separated us like in that way, but it ebbs like it's tide. Means the tides which are very powerful, it will come up and it will do its work. So it's saying no doubt you have separated, but it will ebb like a tide. It will come up like a tide. Our love will come up like a tide. And now he says, I have come with this lost love of mine, and I have come here even though I know I have lost my love. Then he says, to lead but one measure. I have come here to do one slow and straight dance. As you know, the dance, the Western marriage and wedding, they have a dance, a ballroom dance, you can say. So in that kind of manner, he says, I have come to do that dance and just drink one cup of wine. That's it. And you know that there are many maidens in Scotland, many girls in Scotland who are very lovely and very beautiful than this glad lady who's here, who will be very happy to be bride of young Lochinvar. So in the sense, he wants to say that I have just come here to dance and drink a cup of wine. That's it. There are many more maidens in Scotland who are already very good and beautiful, and they'll be very happy to marry me. This was the answer given by young Lochinvar to the bride's father here. Then the bride kissed the goblet, the knight took it up. He quaffed off the wine and he threw down the cup. She looked down to blush and she looked up to sigh, with a smile on her lips and a tear in her eye. He took her soft hand ere her mother could bar. Now treat we a measure, said young Lochinvar. So again, let's see the meaning here. Goblet is a wine glass. Quaffed off is drank quickly. And measurements again, a slow and stately dance. So now her bride, she kissed a goblet, means a wine glass which she was having, she took it, she kissed it, and she gave it to the soldier to have it. And he quickly drank it off. Quaffed means quickly he drank it off everything at once, and he threw down the cup with anger on the floor. And then this bride, that is Ellen, she took blush, she had a smile on her face and she looked up with a sigh. She had a great relief that, oh, my love is with me now. And she had a smile on her lips and also tear in her eye. And then Lachinwar took the soft hand and of the girl to dance, but the mother could not do anything there. And now he said, "Come on, let's have one slow dance to the girl, to the bride," he said, and they started dancing. So stately his form and so lovely her face, that never a hall such a galliard did grace, while her mother did fret, and her father did fume, and the bridegroom stood dangling his bonnet and plume, and the bride maidens whispered it were better by far to have matched our fair cousin with young Lochinvar. So again, we'll see the meaning. Galliard means a spirited dance for two, then bonnet is nothing but hat. So now they are explaining the situation of the wedding hall there. So stately his form, so lovely her face. The girl's face was so lovely now, and that there was not a couple like such a lovely couple and so graceful that they were dancing. The two were dancing. The couple was dancing. The hall had never seen such a good couple dancing anywhere. The mother was fret and father was flew, means they were in very angry mode. They wanted to say and stop everything, but they could not do anything. And the bridegroom too was standing there with his bonnet and plume. Bonnet is a hat with a plume is a feather which they put it on the hat to decorate their dresses and their attire. So he was standing with all the dressing over there, but could not do anything. And the bride maidens, the girls' friends, and the maidens who were there, they started saying to each other that they're far better couple here, and to have matched a fair cousin with young Lachinwar means we're discussing with each other that Lachinwar and our cousin, that is Ellen, is a far better match than anybody else. They are the best couple and they look so beautiful. All these discussions were going on in the hall over there. One touch to her hand and one word in her ear, when they reached the hall door and the charger stood near. So light to the croup the fairy lady he swung, so light to the saddle before her he sprung. She is won, we are gone, over bank, bush, and score. They'll have fleet steeds that follow, quoth young Lechinwar. Now again we'll see the meaning. Charger means is nothing but horse used in a battle. Score means steep rock. Croup behind the saddle on the horseback. Fleet states means swift horses. So let's see the meaning now of the stanza. One touch to her hand means as soon as the Lochinwar touched the hand of the bride and he said some just one word in her ear, and slowly while dancing they reached the door of the hall, and the charger stood there. Means the horse which is used in the battle was standing outside near the hall, waiting for them. So light the group And the fair lady he swung. There was a saddle. You know, there is on the horseback you have a seat, a saddle type where a person can sit and ride the horse. So he just swung the lady. Means that he just picked up the lady and he swung him to make her sit on the saddle, and so light to the saddle before he sprung. And again from there, she was so light that she was easily sprung up to that saddle, and she is won. We are gone. Now, when she sat properly on that horse and everything was done, she is won. The Chinmar is saying, she is won now. Now we are going, we are gone. Over bank, bush, and scaur. We will cross everything, the banks of the river, the thick bushes, and the steep rock, whatever it is, we'll just have to move ahead. They'll have fleet steeds. Now, even they'll have fleet steeds, swift horses behind us. They will follow us. He knows, Lochinvar knows that they are not going to leave us and they'll be behind us with the swift horses. So we have to just cross everything and we have to run away from here. Then there was mounting among dreams of the Netherby clan, Frosters, Fenwicks, and Miss Graves. They rode and they ran. There was racing and chasing and canopy lee, but the lost bride of Netherby never did the sea. So daring in love and so dauntless in war. Have you ever heard of a gallant like young Lochinvar? So again, we'll see the meaning here. Grimm's, Foresters, Fenwicks, and Misgraves. All these are the names of the various clans of people who are supporting the Netherby clan. Means these people who are there, the bride's parents, all these were held by these different caste people. Clans means classed people. They were named as Grimm's, Foresters, and Fenwicks, and Misgraves. The surnames which they have there in the Netherlands. So they were mounting, means they were just behind. All these people just they rode behind them, means they started running with their horses behind them, and they ran, they followed them. There was racing and chasing on Canobili, on the places, on the mountains, and everywhere. They just chased like anything. But the lost bride of Netherby never did the see, but they could not make up and see them nor catch them. They had already flown away very swiftly. And this shows the so daring Lochinvar was in love and he was so dauntless, so fearless he was in war. Have you ever heard of a gallant like young Lochinvar? So the poet asks you all that have you ever heard of such a gallant and a brave warrior like Lochinvar, who so fearlessly, dauntlessly fights in the war and has come and he's so daring in love that at last he came and he took his love, that is Ellen, from the wedding hall and flew away from there. So here the poet is trying to uh, share the poem, which is a story you can say in the form of poem, which is known as ballad here, where it's written very romantically, and the dauntless and the courage and the daring that the warrior, the Lochinvar, had is been shown here. I hope students, so you would have understood this poem.